What is going on, guys? Mitokino here, and today we are going to show you how to detail and maintain a matte painted car. Now, of course, the 507 that I have is a factory Diseño Magno paint, and matte paint is very sensitive, and of course there's some certain little nuances that you have to kind of keep an eye out on and making sure that you keep it as in mint condition as possible. And I have a detailer that's going to come in and actually tell us a little bit more about how to actually maintain these. So I'm going to go ahead and check that out. Alan, what's up, brother?
What's up, my man? How you doing?
How's
good
things?
To see you. Same as always.
Good.
I guess today we're going to be washing your AMG, right? So we're going to be teaching you guys how to detail matte paint. Matte is substantially different than washing your typical gloss black or any gloss color. There are definitely some do's or don'ts to be wary of when washing a matte paint, because any damage that you cause to the paint cannot be undone unless you repaint it or get it fixed professionally, whatever the case is. Yeah, people always say black cars are like the worst to take care of. No, matte cars are the worst to take care of. But once you know what you're doing, it becomes a lot easier. So I guess that's the whole point of the video, right?
Right. So what are we gonna do first now?
So we always start with the wheels first. They're obviously the dirtiest part of the car. For starters, we're gonna go with the wheels first.
Cool. Let's do it.
Yeah, these wheels are pretty gross, but again, like I said, any BMW or Mercedes kicks up brake dust like you have no idea. By the time you're down the street, you've got a bunch of brake dust on the surface already. So typically what we'll do is we'll clean the tires. We'll remove any of the old dressing that we put on there. We'll clean the face of the wheel, the inner barrel, and then the brake caliper as well. For the tires, we're using a non-acid wheel and tire cleaner. The brand doesn't matter. Whatever it is, just make sure it's non-acid. With matte black wheels or matte wheels in general, don't ever use any acid, because acid is about as damaging as it can get for these type of wheels. So what I like to use for the face of the wheel is, this is an iron remover. This is Cool Guy from Shine Supply. What this is gonna do is it's gonna emulsify all of the iron particles that are embedded onto the surface and below the surface of the wheels. And then for the fender liner, we're gonna just use a regular all-purpose cleaner, lightly diluted. Make sure it's lightly diluted, because if you don't dilute it lightly enough and you accidentally get on the paint, you can definitely run into some issues. I mean, I've never had any issues, but I mean, I don't really want to find out. But yeah, that's basically it, just to get these wheels nice and clean. Now that we're gonna get into the paint, I like to do what we call a pre-foam. So I'm gonna get my foam cannon, I'm gonna foam up the whole car, but I'm gonna make sure that the foam isn't too thick. I wanna make it a little bit runny, if you will, so that I make sure the soap is actually pulling some of that dirt and grime down. I'm just gonna throw the foam on it, I'll rinse it, and then I'll foam it again. I'll do my contact, my hand wash, and then I'll rinse it again. But the whole point of this, there's less chance of us, moving around some of that dirt, pushing that into the paint. But as far as the soap that we're gonna wanna use, when working with matte paint, you never want to use anything with any gloss enhancers. You don't want to use on matte paint, because it's going to add a layer of shine. It's going to add some sort of shining properties, I guess, to the paint, which you don't want, because you want it to be matte. You don't want any shine. Some quick do's and don'ts when washing your vehicle. This, applies to gloss or matte paint, but specifically matte paint. Yes, we're in direct sunlight, but it's probably 40 degrees out here. It's not, causing any heat on the paint. So if you have the ability to wash the car either indoors or in a cool shaded area, do so. You don't want any of this soap drying up on the paint. It's not really the end of the world if it does, but again, it's just better safe than sorry. So another thing when we're doing this hand wash is you always want to go from top to bottom. Another thing that I really like to do is have multiple mitts in my bucket. I usually have one mitt for the top of the car / the glass. I have another mitt for the body. And then I have another mitt, which is probably the most important part of the whole wash process for me, is I've got another mitt that I use for just the bottom sections of the car. So it's a little gunky. As you can see, it's not really green anymore. This is going to be for all of these bottom rocker panels, the diffuser on the back, basically anything on the very bottom of the car, anything that's closest to the ground. That's really important for me, because that's typically the dirtiest part of the physical body. So you don't want to be using the same mitt that's touching the bottom, which probably has a lot of dirt and debris, and then take it back up and then just
swirl
push
the whole
that
car
into the paint and swirl the whole car.
Yeah.
So we just hand washed the car. We're about to rinse it off. But before I rinse it off, I want to show you guys how I dry these cars. Typically, I like to touch them as least as possible. That's with any car, whether it's matte or gloss. The less you touch the surface, obviously, the less chance you run of creating scratches or swirls. So this is just a leaf blower. It looks pretty crazy. It looks like it's something special. It's really not. But you can use any leaf blower. It's gonna knock off, say, like 90% of the water that's on the surface. Whatever's left over, you can use a soft towel to wipe it off, but I'd recommend a leaf blower. This is great for the wheels because it's gonna make sure they get really dry. We use deionized spot-free water, so that's already gonna make sure that we're not running into that risk. But if you're washing your own car at home and you're using a garden hose and you're in broad daylight and it's 100 degrees out, use an air blower, use an air compressor, whatever you want to use, but just make sure you use some sort of forced air to push all the water off the surface, and you're not gonna get any water spots that way.
And just adds up, he still needs to rinse the car. So
I do need to rinse the car.
He
so
still needs to rinse
comment,
it. So don't get all crazy down there, guys.
As you can see, we've dried the car already, and even after a couple minutes, we still have little drips that are still coming out of the cracks and crevices. That's totally fine. Don't panic, unless it's 100 degrees out, then you should panic. But what we're gonna use is waterless wash, like I talked about earlier. It's basically just soap and water mixed into a sprayable form. So all I'm gonna do is just, I don't wanna soak my towel, but just dampen it. And I'm just gonna come in and wipe off whatever little streaks are left. Okay, so here's another good spot right here. We've got the gas cap. This is where a lot of water tends to typically drip out of. So even though I spent a good 2-3 minutes, blowing all the air out of here, we still have a drip on here. So again, I'm just gonna spray some on here and just wipe it off. Obviously, I'm not putting any pressure, using a super soft towel. I'm gonna flip to the dry side. You saw us earlier cleaning the tire. You saw us, making sure we really got in here with all the proper products and brushes. But sometimes what happens is if the tire is still really dirty, we need to do what we call stripping the tire. So that's gonna be removing the leftover gunk and dirt that's just on the surface of the tire still, even after we cleaned it. So what you're gonna use is a tar and sap remover. I actually recommend this one specifically. I think this is like $8 for the bottle. What you'll do is don't spray it onto the tire because you'll get this onto the overspray will get onto the surface of the wheel. You spray this onto your towel. All you're gonna do is literally just massage it into the tire. And what this is doing is it's a little bit more aggressive, and it's gonna be making sure that it picks up whatever's left off on the surface of the tire, so that when you apply your tire dressing, the tire dressing is gonna bond in a much more stronger way to the surface of the tire, and it's gonna prevent any of that tire sling going onto the body. Typically what I like to do is after every couple of washes, I'll apply this product. It's called Clutch from Shine Supply. What this is gonna do is it's gonna give it a pretty deep sheen to the surface of the wheels. Over time, it's not gonna leave them like that, so it's not like you're adding a bunch of shine and your wheels are gonna be super shiny. Basically what you'll do is spray some of this onto the wheels. If you're in a cool shaded area, the wheels are super, I don't wanna say cold, but if the wheels aren't hot, what you can do is you can just let it sit. The longer you let it sit, the easier it'll be to buff off. But basically what I'll do is I'll let it sit here for like 30 seconds and then I'll wipe it off. And what it's gonna do is it's gonna add some protection to the wheels, and it's just gonna make it easier for me to clean next time I have to come and clean these wheels. The water bounces right off.
Damn, this thing looks so clean, Alan.
It's a lot better, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so obviously we just thoroughly detailed it. We removed a lot of that gunk and grime that was on the paint, the wheels, the inner fenders, all that good stuff. So now you guys know how to properly take care of your matte vehicle, and hopefully it's something to consider if you're thinking about buying a matte paint job.
I mean, when we look at it, it's just
clean, right?
It looks so good. Again, like the biggest difference too is just the wheels. Because I took a shot before we even started.
Yeah.
Well, Alan, you did your magic with the C63.
Yep.
How can people find you? Where do you service? And so on and so forth. Just put your plug in, just so people that are watching.
So this is not a shameless plug, right? I can.
Yeah, no, you got permission, man.
Sweet.
You got permission.
Cool. I got permission. So yeah, check us out on Instagram at @PlatinumAutoDetail_. You can check us out on YouTube. We'll start posting some videos more consistently on there. So if you guys like the style of these videos, we'll definitely post some of those on YouTube with some of the magic from Mitokino himself. But yeah, check us out on Instagram. That's where we post daily updates. You can check out our website platinumautomotivedetail.com. We service mainly the Santa Cruz area, a little bit of the surrounding valley areas, but for the most part Santa Cruz. But yeah, we do details, paint corrections, ceramic coatings, interior details, all that good stuff. You know, hopefully you'll be interested in reaching out to us for that. But yeah, Instagram is really where you'll see a lot of the work we do, and we're a lot more consistent on there for sure.
Sweet, sweet, sweet. All right. Well, guys, hope you guys found this video helpful and you guys learned something. Make sure to like and subscribe. And yeah, just comment down below what you guys think and let me know if you guys want to see more videos like this. Yeah, that's about it. Thanks, guys, and we'll see you soon.